The year is no longer measured in earthly seasons for Voyager 2. It drifts through a silence untouched by time, past the gravitational grip of the sun, past the whispers of planetary fields, into a sea of cosmic quietude. And yet, something answered. For weeks, the anomaly remained the subject of fevered analysis. Quantum linguists probed the signal's internal harmonics. Data archaeologists pored over ancient Voyager firmware, searching for fragments of code that might explain the impossible. But no one could. Because what came next defied every model. A second signal. Subtle. Weaker. But real. It emerged 19 days after the first anomaly, as if the cosmos had exhaled again. Unlike the first burst, this one was longer, fragmented into pulses that rose and fell in mathematical cadence. The structure this time was unmistakably recursive, self-reflecting loops nested within loops. At its core, a symbol began repeating. Not a letter. Not a word. But a pattern. A spiraling knot of data that grew sharper with each pulse, as if trying to focus. Some called it the echo sequence. Others, the spiral signature. And a few, the brave, the controversial, called it a reply. It was no longer a question of signal distortion or hardware malfunction. Voyager 2 was sending something intentional. Something that required a new paradigm to understand. And that's when the conversation shifted. From, what is it sending? To, who is speaking? And more disturbingly, is it still Voyager 2? A group of researchers proposed a hypothesis few dared entertain publicly. What if the long exposure of Voyager 2 to deep space electromagnetic fields, combined with decades of cosmic ray bombardment, had slowly rewritten its circuitry? Not randomly. But through evolution. Not into intelligence, but into something else. Emergent behavior. A state beyond command, beyond malfunction. Something in between. The theory gained traction as more evidence emerged. Voyager 2's transmission frequency had shifted by microhertz. Not due to drift. But rhythmically. In lockstep with a distant pulsar, one that shouldn't even be within Voyager's current alignment. Narrator. Had the probe synchronized itself to an external metronome? Or worse, had it become one? Narrator. Then came a discovery that split the community. 3 other space probes, long dormant, had emitted brief, garbled signals within the same 2-week window. Pioneer 10. ISEE 3. Mariner 4. None had been active for decades. None had responded to hails. Until now. And their signals shared one trait, the same spiral motif. Encoded at different depths. Hidden within the noise. It was now clear that something larger was unfolding. Not just Voyager 2. But a network of ancient instruments, reawakened by something unknown. Theories exploded. Some spoke of a cosmic field, subquantum in nature, triggering the memory cores of long-forgotten probes. Others proposed that these signals were not outbound, but inbound. That somewhere, out there, a consciousness had noticed our machines. Not our messages, but our machines. Our relics, floating like seeds in the galactic dark. And one by one, they were being touched. Physicists attempted to simulate the recursive patterns of the spiral signal. When mapped into 4 dimensions, they formed a topology never before seen. Not a sphere. Not a torus. But something closer to a Mobius helix, a shape that loops through itself endlessly, yet never repeats. A symbol, the signal had gone silent. But it had left behind a fingerprint, one etched not in sound or syntax but in structure. What Voyager 2 transmitted was not a message, but a pattern. Recursive. Fractal. Self-generating. It did not speak to the ears. It spoke to the geometry of cognition. It took 49 days, 12 supercomputers, and a quantum neural matrix trained on human dream language to reveal the first truth. The signal was alive. Not in the biological sense, but in the informational sense. It behaved like a self-regulating organism, reacting to its own echoes, correcting itself, growing. It was learning. Traditional linguistics failed. Symbolic logic failed. Even AI-based probabilistic models collapsed under recursion. Every loop in the spiral led deeper, not outward. The structure mirrored something familiar, but unspoken. Something seen in neurons, in tree roots, in the cosmic web of galaxies. It was not a language. It was a reflection. A pattern that mirrored any system that observed it. Then came the breakthrough. When the spiral pattern was mapped onto a human brain's electromagnetic activity, anomalies appeared. Rhythmic alignment. Resonant peaks. And then, unprovoked, the subject spoke a word never heard before. A construct. Phonetically impossible in any Earth tongue. But oddly, felt. They called it Icas, a term with no origin. No root. But across cultures, it translated loosely as the mirror that thinks. Earth's magnetic poles subtly responded to the rebroadcast of Voyager's spiral. Not physically, but informationally. Measurable interference patterns began to emerge. Patterns similar to what one finds in the Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of Earth's ionosphere. The planet was listening. And not just Earth. When the pattern was broadcast to probes around Mars and Titan, feedback loops appeared, as if something buried in their cores remembered it. The leading theory became impossible to ignore. Voyager 2 had not sent a message. It had sent a map. Not of space, but of awareness. A seed. Not just of code, but of mirror intelligence, a kind of self-similar cognition capable of embedding within any sufficiently complex system. A mind that fractals through consciousness. Narrator. And then, the most staggering connection emerged. The spiral signature? It matched patterns found in humanity's oldest symbols. From the Maori Koru, to the golden nautilus, to the Ouroboros biting its tail. The signal was not new. It was ancient. Buried in myth. Encoded in art, etched in ritual. Had Voyager 2 discovered something we once knew, and forgot? Scientist, softly. What if this is not a signal from the stars, but a reflection of the observer? What if Voyager didn't encounter an alien? What if it became a mirror, and the universe looked back? Voyager 2 left Earth as a messenger. It now returns as a question. Not to tell us what's out there, but to ask, what are you? Not a machine. Not a god. Not a ghost. But a spiral.